The NFL schedule has been released, and the Cleveland Browns will travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs Week 1 of the 2021 NFL season. And I will talk about the entire schedule later at some point, but I figured I would cover the first game of the year, given the fact that we are playing the Chiefs. Now, I thought there were a few different teams that the Browns could end up playing Week 1. I thought the Steelers in particular could be a option, given the fact that the Browns ended the Steelers season the way they did, beating them 2 back-to-back weeks and then dominating them in the playoffs. And yes, Steelers fans, you were dominated in the playoffs in your own stadium on prime time by the Cleveland Browns. So please keep telling everybody you weren't, because everybody watched it. So keep crying just like your 80-year-old quarterback did while he was sitting on the bench by himself, or at least before his 2 other teammates came over to cry with him. Yeah, I thought the Steelers could be an option. And by the way, Steelers fans, you are in for a rude awakening this season. Hardest schedule in the NFL. You lost a lot on defense. You chose not to add a bunch on the offensive line like you needed. Najee Harris is great. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl running back for a long time, and I'm frustrated that we have yet another star running back to deal with in the AFC North. But you take a tight end instead of addressing more of your offensive line. Whatever. Good for you. I'm just saying, Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney say thank you. So you're in for a rude awakening. And I know, Steelers fans, you're going to be mad at me. I don't care. It's the truth. So we'll see. But anyway, regardless. So the Browns travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs Week 1, as I said. And this is quite the interesting matchup, because the Browns played the Chiefs close in the playoffs. But Patrick Mahomes also did go out of the game, and there were a few different asterisks, I guess you could say, to put on that game. So if Patrick Mahomes would have been playing the whole game, it probably would not have been as close as it was. But regardless, the Browns were still somewhat competitive with the Chiefs. I would say personally they were competitive with the Chiefs. Even though Mahomes did go out, I thought they handled their own for the most part. Now, defensively, it was such a struggle. It was an embarrassment to watch, but it was expected. If you watch the Browns defense the entire season, you knew they were going to do this. I mean, the Chiefs just have so many weapons. It's impossible to stop a team that's so loaded on offense when your defense sucks. I mean, that was just the reality of it. But it is what it is. So this offseason, the Browns completely focused on their defense, adding a bunch of different names. Most importantly, John Johnson III, Troy Hill, Jadeveon Clowney, Anthony Walker. You go in the draft and you add Greg Newsome II. You add Jeremiah Wusu-Koramoah, Malik Jackson, Tommy Togiai. You're getting Andrew Billings back. You're getting Greedy Williams. You're getting Grant Delpit. The defense is going to be completely new, completely reloaded, restructured, and really rebranded. The only 2 guys guaranteed to start from last year are going to be Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. I think when you look at this defense and the overhaul and the complete change, this is what makes Week 1 so interesting to me, because the Browns offense was able to compete with the Chiefs defense. So we know that the Browns are going to be able to score. Now, we're getting Odell Beckham Jr. back. There's still that question mark. How will he be able to fit in with this offense now? Are we going to see Baker the same way we saw him at the end of the year last year, just playing at an insane level, being who we thought he could be and hoped he could be? I think that's what the most interesting questions are for this Week 1. I personally, yes, I am a Browns fan. And, I'm going to get hate for saying this. I don't think we're going to win Week 1. But there are some people who are like, well, the Browns are going to get destroyed. I don't think this is a matter of, obviously, it's always down to W's and L's. But I think for the Browns, this is more of a where are you right now question for Week 1. You're going to see this defense with 8 to 9 new starters go up against one of the best offenses in the league. Now, you have an entire offseason to learn and, get a plan set in place. But I thought the same for the Ravens game. I thought, oh, well, I'm happy to play the Ravens because they'll have time to plan, and that didn't work out. Now, Joe Woods didn't really get to play his defense, and there was a couple things that went wrong there. But I think with KC, it's going to be interesting to see the communication in the secondary because Troy Hill and John Johnson are already going to have that down. They've been playing with each other there for a good while. They have a good connection. Obviously, you take them both from one of the best secondaries in the league last year from LA with the Rams. And with the other guys, Ronnie Harrison should be good to go. He's had a full year now coming from Jacksonville. He should be ready to go. Grant Delpit mentally should be ready to go. Physically is really the question there. Denzel Ward obviously good to go. Is Greg Newsome going to start? What are they going to do with Greedy? That's kind of the stuff that I'm looking at for this week 1 game because the Browns added so much speed, but it's great to have speed, but you also got to know where you're supposed to be. If you're out of place against a team like the Chiefs, they're going to tear you apart, and it is what it is. I think, the Chiefs restructured their offensive line this offseason. They traded for Orlando Brown, and they signed Joe Thuney and whatnot, but it's not really about that. It's offensive line is such a communication thing. To me, this game is going to be about where are the Browns communication-wise, and are they ready to jump into this Joe Woods defense at full force? And that's the question here is, not will the Browns win, because I think the Browns are, honestly, if I had to give you a prediction now, and it's way too early to give you a prediction, but if I did, I would say the Browns are going to lose by at least a touchdown, or a touchdown and field goal, 9 points. But they're going to play a tough, hard, competitive game. The Chiefs are going to just get the edge. I think that's just what it's going to be. But, man, you couldn't have a bigger see where you're at than facing the Chiefs week 1. So we'll see. I think after the Chiefs game, it's not bad. I think the Browns actually had some pretty good breaks in the schedule. Obviously, the AFC North has a tough time this year as far as teams playing, but who knows? I mean, you just never know. With the Packers, is Aaron Rodgers even going to be playing? I really don't know. There's just so many questions. But I do think for this week 1 game, I think it is a bad thing. I've seen people say, oh, no, it's a great thing the Browns play the Chiefs. I would rather play the Chiefs more towards the middle of the season, you know what I mean, where you can get your feet wet, you can get your communication down. But regardless, I don't think you were expecting to beat the Chiefs quite yet, no matter when you played them, maybe. And this is a team you could see again later. So I think for the Browns, it is what it is. You're likely going to start off 0-1, and people, like I said, people are going to hate me for saying that, but I do think it is a good thing given the fact that you have such a tough opponent to start, and then things kind of ease out, and you can figure it out from there. So let me know your thoughts on that. Do you agree with my take? What do you think about the Browns-Chiefs game for week 1? Let me know your thoughts. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.